All right.
Right, we're in Sweden. I love that place,
Yeah.
man. Like, I really need to come over, mate. Like, I got a lot of good people, and a lot of quote unquote supporters, I guess, from the podcast. I
hmm
hate to use the word supporters. I like to just say family or friends. Let's people that like to
Yeah.
talk shit. They're all from
Yeah.
Sweden,
Yeah. Yeah.
man, and I love it, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
man.
awesome.
It's a bit cool. It's humbling. I'm like, holy shit. So I need to come over one time.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. You should visit Stockholm.
Maybe I'd never leave.
Who knows? Who knows?
Maybe I'd be Swedish then. Get myself a little passport. Perfect. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
blonde hair, blue eyed, so I am the stereotype. But
Oh yeah, yeah. You fit perfectly in.
I love. I've been to Iceland. I've been to Denmark. Love those two places. Obviously, want
Mm.
to go to the rest of Scandinavia. Love the culture. Love the people. Great people, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Great people. But bro, like something I love doing here, man, is showing that athletes, right,
hmm
have another side to them. Because usually we just
Yeah.
look at them and just been like, you are so one dimensional, right? You're just kind of this gladiator that gets put in the arena and we watch you for entertainment and then that's it, right? And you're like,
You're what you do on the platform.
100%, right? And you're like, the guys, like these lads and ladies are a little bit more than that. I mean, don't get me wrong, absolute freaks, amazing. We love to watch it, fantastic, entertaining, yeah. But they are a little bit more than that, man. But before we jump in and that, I guess we got to introduce who you are, mate, because you're kind of a big deal.
I mean, big of a deal, and big of a. I mean, I don't know. I don't like to look at myself as like a big thing. I mean, I'm just who I am, and I've gotten to where I am because I've tried to like keep myself grounded and just do my best.
100%, brother. 100%. But junior world, mate.
I mean, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's an awesome title to have, and I mean, I get a smile on my face each time I realize, like, damn. As of now, I'm like the best junior,
Hmm.
and I mean, there's other like good juniors as well, like in the US, like Joe Borenstein and Austin. But I mean, I've won a world championship. I mean, there's not a lot of people who can say that, and I take a lot of pride in that.
So for people that don't understand, obviously it's powerlifting, right?
Yeah.
Um, what would be classified as a junior?
So you're a junior up until the year you turn 23. So this is my last year as a junior.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Because obviously, with or for people that don't know, maybe not into fitness, maybe they're into something else.
Mm.
Strength is a little bit longer, right? You got to bleed for a little bit longer period of time in the gym, like peaking maybe about 35 rather than football where you peak at about 18.
Exactly.
It's a little bit
It's
more
a
patience game, right?
Yeah, really. But I mean, how do you say? Like, it's really cool to see that to the place where I've gotten now, and I'm just 23, and I'm probably gonna peak in like 7 years. I mean, who knows what's like lying ahead?
Mm.
So it's a pretty humbling thing.
I love it how you describe it as humbling because I get the same feeling from the Bible.
Mm,
It's non-discriminatory. It doesn't care who you are. You put your hands on it, it's going to weigh the same. And also,
exactly.
the only thing it respects is the humble grind. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
like it is the day in day out graft for years, right? It's months and years. It's not weeks and months, right? And
Yeah.
that's one of the greatest things I was ever taught as an athlete. And funny enough, I was taught it while I was coaching
Mm,
was months and years. That's all he said, months and years. He said three words, and I
yeah.
was like, oh shit, okay. Like we gotta start looking at it that way, rather than what can I do this week to get me better next week? It's like no, no. What can I do today to get me better next year?
Yeah, exactly. But that's the beauty of it as well, because I mean, not a lot of people have that patience. So when you like finally reach that level, it's like, damn, I really had the patience and like showed myself that I have uh, the character to like reach a certain level. which
Mm.
is it's a cool thing.
Yeah, man. Like, what's the biggest thing you've learned from powerlifting, man?
Man, a lot. Like it sounds cheesy, but powerlifting has really changed my life for the better. I mean, I learned so much during like harsh competitions to like, I mean, keep myself grounded, just focus on the present. And the only way you can learn that is like to be in like a very pressed position, which most often like international championships are. So it's taught me that I'm a I'm a bad motherfucker when I need to be a bad motherfucker.
My man.
Uh, but I've also learned that, I mean, although I've reached like a pretty high level, I still need to like be the same person I was before the titles and just remain humble because there could always be someone who's better than you or stronger than you, and you just can't take like you can't just assume that you're the strongest. You always need to like stay humble and just keep grinding.
Mm-hmm. See, that's the impression I get from the culture of Scandinavia, man. And this is one of the reasons why I love it so much. And please do correct me if I'm wrong, right? If I'm being ignorant, just fucking throw a middle finger up at me. That's all right. I'll probably throw one back up at myself, you know. But it's the biggest thing I get from it. I got good mates from Denmark. Obviously, I've spoken to people from all over. Is they got a switch so they can turn it on, right? They're clearly hardworking people. Um,
Mm,
but at the same time, when the competition's over and it's done, like okay, we've had that time, we've had that kind of gladiator time, that Viking time, right? But now let's turn
yeah.
it off. And you're very, very, very good at switching that light switch back off and pulling yourself back out, right? Rather than showboating, rather than getting caught up in the moment. It's like, no, that served its purpose now. We've gone there, we've done that.
Mm,
Now we've got another purpose and we got to come back down and we got to be humble, right? And I
mm,
fucking love that. I talk about the light switch a lot,
yeah.
right? I think everybody needs to know where that switch is and needs to know how to
Mm,
flick it on and off, right? And I think
yeah.
because you got to be somebody else on that platform, right? You got to be somebody else underneath a heavy load.
I mean, I don't think you necessarily have to be like another person
Mm.
on the platform. I think you just have to like bring forward something that you always have, but on a deeper level. But you don't always have to bring it forwards, like in everyday life. Uh,
I like that.
so yeah, but I think Swedish people overall. I mean, you talked about that the switch.
Mm.
I think people here are honestly too good at like not like showing their accomplishments. We have something that's called the Jantes law in Sweden. It's like it's basically a culture thing that you're not supposed to like show your accomplishments or show that you're like better than anybody. And I mean, I I think it's a good concept, but I think it like can be too much that maybe you're not able to like show how proud you are over your accomplishments. And that's I think it's an important thing to like show people that you can do great things and you should be proud of them, but you should not be like cocky or showboating. But
Yeah.
yeah, if you
Yeah.
get what I mean.
100% I get what you mean. Like cocky and confidence are two separate things. And
Yeah,
a lot of the time they get misstrued as being one of the same, right? But they
exactly.
feel different, man. Like
Yeah, definitely.
being somebody in a room, a part of a conversation just feels totally different when someone's
Mm,
being cocky and someone's being confident. And
yeah,
I mean in English we got something called tall poppy syndrome.
yeah.
So, for example, if you're like, oh, like I'm kind of just proud of myself because of the achievement I did at the weekend, for example, and I
Mm,
turned around and was like, yeah, shut the fuck up, you can't talk about that, like, and try and
mm,
bring you down, right? It's called
yeah,
tall poppy syndrome. They kind of
yeah.
chop off the tall poppy, and I don't get it, man. I don't quite understand
No,
it.
I think that's the thing we have in Sweden.
Mm,
Uh, And I think more people need to like be proud of their accomplishments. I mean, don't get me wrong, you should be humble and you should like always like be grateful over what you have, but you can't forget to like you have to be proud also like over what you've done. And you don't have to be afraid to show it. Just don't be cocky about it.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure, man.
for me, accomplishments are meant to like if you're gonna show them off, it's meant to like inspire people, not put people down.
Mm. Yeah, we relate
So
to them, right? We relate to the feeling involved. We relate to the hard work. We might not relate to the end result. You know, I was
yeah.
never junior world champion. Like that's I can't relate to that. But at the same time, like
Mm,
what you're going in and out, dedicating yourself to something, putting in the work, feeling like an outcast in certain situations because you got to
mm,
sacrifice to get there. Yeah, everybody can relate to that. Let's focus on the things that we understand about each other, right? And then ask about the things that we don't understand.
exactly.
Mm. Well, you got competing on the weekend, Friday.
Yeah, open nationals.
There we go. You feel ready?
Yeah, I feel very ready. I mean, training has been going great. I've hit like 3 PRs these last 2 weeks, in both like bench, squat, and deadlift.
Oh.
So my form feels great. Now it's just time to put it on the platform. So I mean, I've done all the work, like physically, mentally, with the diet, everything on point. So the rest is up to faith, I guess, and just
Mm.
hopefully I get to put everything that I've done in the gym on the platform. But yeah,
What
we'll see.
Where do you go mentally when you step foot on that platform? You know, some athletes go
Mm,
sunshine and rainbows. Okay, we can
yeah.
do this. And then some athletes go the opposite, right? And go really friggin' dark.
Mm.
Where do you go,
I,
bro?
I I think before very important lifts, I always remind myself of who I were before powerlifting, which was like I always been like a very insecure child, and I had a lot of problems with mental health when I was younger. So to me, it's always like a moment for me to show myself that I'm no longer that person. I'm stronger. I'm wiser, and I can put like everything I've worked on before the competition into fruition in like when it's counting the most,
Mhm.
which is on the platform. So for me, it's like to just show myself that I'm no longer that kid, and hopefully I get to inspire my family, all the other people like who's like looking up to me. Um, so that's one side, and sometimes I just want to like I just feel super confident, right? Like during my first and second attempts, it's always like, yeah, I got this. I just need to like show myself that I can have this mindset like on the platform as well. So yeah,
Mm. It's like I love that first point, right? Of kind of proving yourself wrong of who you were, although
mm,
you're accepting who you were at the same time. And I think that's quite a poetic motion to go through. You know, it's like acknowledging the past. All right, you obviously can't change that, but then making yourself proud in the present of been like,
exactly.
hey, like you've done a little bit of work to get from there to here,
Yeah,
right? And yeah, man, I think that's really cool. I think a lot of people relate to that, regardless of what
yeah,
they do. You know, when they go into a big meeting, you know, they're probably like, oh, you used to be wherever and now you're here, or they go into their
mm,
family life, or whether they could step out on that platform, mate. You know, and I think sport is a great example of life at the end of the day. You know, we're just the crazy people who like to bury ourselves under load.
yeah.
I mean, it would make a lot of sense that we're a little bit short on some marbles upstairs, you know, and the quote unquote normal people would
I
be
think yeah, but I think you need to like have something that's not off, but quite special inside you to like being able to like step in front of like a bunch of people under like a heavy as barbell and just lift the most amount of weight possible and do that for years. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of like normal people who like to do that and like get something. to get something out of it, if you know what I mean.
Mm.
You have to have something like special inside you to do that.
Yeah, man. And those characters are usually very fascinating. Like, especially to me, I find people fascinating anyway, like regardless of what they do. But the individuals that love strength sports, right? And they kind of work in the shadows and then they come out on these platforms and lift some ungodly amounts of weights and they just kind of disappear, right? And just
Yeah,
go back to
like
work. You're
see,
like, what
yeah,
the?
see you in 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. You know, how many times do you like PR? Oh, max out or something? He's like, I don't know, once a year. You're like, what
Yeah,
the fuck?
yeah,
Oh,
exactly. But
it's those types of gyms though, man. Like I like to nickname it the Lions Den, and I usually nickname it the Lions Den when I coach kids from like 12 to 18, right?
yeah,
Because you and I both know the gym, the barbell taught us so much about life, right?
yeah,
Regardless of what we're lifting, it could be an empty barbell, it could be a billion kilos, it doesn't matter. Like it taught us so much about life, right?
mm,
And I like to nickname it that Lions Den. Why? Because you get in that dirty ass gym. All right. There's usually no windows or there's one window and everybody's like gathered up to it to just get that little bit of sunlight. Right. And you're in there for hours and you're talking shit with your bodies and you're cussing people out. But the stuff that you learn in those four walls is indescribable, and it'll be the
mm,
same as people learn in a dance studio, or it'll be the same as people learn when they're painting, and it's people's ability to adopt something called like a flow state, right? Where they're just like outside of their body and mind, they're working out, they're doing something, they're writing, they're drawing, meditating, whatever. And it's kind of like they're connecting with themselves above everything else. And I find it's fascinating, man.
yeah. It's a beautiful experience.
Mm.
And sometimes it can be god awful, but I mean, most of the time it's beautiful.
It's got awful and your back hurts and your knees are sore and
Yeah,
it's like, why didn't
but I
I
mean,
paint?
yeah, exactly, exactly. But I mean, it's super rewarding when you like step into the gym and you feel awful, but you still go ahead and just go through it and maybe go even harder because you have to show yourself that. I
Yeah,
mean,
bro.
even though it's super hard today, we have to go even harder just to show ourselves that we are that person who can reach that goal. Or yeah,
100%, mate. Like it really, really is a battle between you and you, right? Like it really, really is. It's you and your shadow just kind of having it out at each other. Like kind of
mm,
like devil and the angel on the shoulder. And I think that's where a lot of athletes get misunderstood.
what do you mean?
Like the outside of the gym, especially people who have never competed at a high level, they'll
Hmm.
look at athletes in a given sport and label with them with words like obsessed, right? For example, rather than, oh, look at this passionate individual, they're like, look at this obsessed person, right?
Yeah,
This is now unhealthy. And I was like, well, we never drew the comparison between high level sport and health, right? They're
no,
two they're two
it's
separate things.
yeah, it really is.
Like when you're 90, you're not going to put like 1,000 pounds on your back and try and squat it. Probably,
No,
probably not the wisest thing to do. But yeah, I think athletes get misunderstood, man. Especially in a gym scene. Like gyms notoriously are quite this intimidating male dominant space, right? And
mm,
I'd love to see it neutralize, where it's just doors open, man. Come on in. Like we're all here trying to work on ourselves rather than like I'm trying to get better than you and you're trying to like get one over on me. I was like, no, no, no. Like I got something at the back of my head that I'm thinking about, and so are you.
mm,
And each set, we're kind of cheering each other on because you're telling part of your own self to go fuck
mm.
itself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Or at least
I
that's me. Like I can't train happy, bro.
I mean, no, I no, I guess I can't either. I mean, either I'm like super focused, or I'm just trying to prove that other side of myself that I'm no longer that person, you know, that younger version of myself, that I've evolved. I'm something else. Although I still feel these like feelings that I get had when I was younger, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, man. You're now strong enough to control them and use them in a
Yeah,
constructive avenue, right? And
exactly.
that's stunning, man. That shows progress. It's the evolution of a man, mate. You know, like rather than
Mm,
being a scared boy, you're now a strong man. You know, and you're able to control it, feel it, digest it, understand it, figure it the
yeah,
fuck out, and then use
exactly.
it in a constructive way rather than just casting it out on other people, man. You know.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really scary thing to face those thoughts.
Mm.
But I mean, it's either that or like just live in misery the rest of your life.
Mm.
So
And
I mean,
use it.
you just gotta go ahead at it.
Yes, sir. And usually us being dudes, right? What do we end up doing if you don't feel it and sort it out? You usually cast it on other people, right? Because you act
Yep.
out in a certain way. You ever throw a punch at a dude, or you raise your voice towards a lady, or you throw
Mm,
something across the room, and all of those are negative. It's wrong. It's
yeah.
something that we shouldn't be doing, right? And I think we need to do a better job. And I think you've just done it right now. Of all right, dudes, like you got shit, guess what? So have all of us. Like, but we're all in this
Mm,
together, right? But at the end of the day, you got to do your own work. And
yeah, exactly.
weight room is a great way of doing that. It's a meditation. You know, we're slowly learning parts of ourselves that we need to help unravel, right? And then iron it back out and go back to the drawing board and be like, oh, that's probably not great. Okay, cool.
Mm,
Like I need to learn a different skill set to be able to then express myself, you know. And again, we're just the crazy people that like to do it under barbells.
mm, we
Let me
truly are.
let me lie down and push an object off my chest. It's like, what are you doing, dude? Just go to therapy. I was like, nah, I'm at it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. It's a very primal thing to do when you like think about it. It's just, oh, I feel bad. I go lift weights and I feel better afterwards.
Yeah.
When you like really break it down. But I
Yeah.
mean, yeah,
Super
it's
primal,
it's
right?
but it's really therapeutic. I mean, there's nothing else like it.
No, I mean, not for me. Definitely not for me. There's nothing else like it. But at the same time, um, I do believe we need something physical. All right. So we get it from weights, right? Other people
Mm,
might get it from running or
yeah,
yoga or whatever, right? I mean, I think that's fantastic. Go do that.
yeah.
And I think we also need something non-physical, you know. I think we can't rely on one outlet,
Oh
you
no,
know.
no, no, definitely not. I mean, I think for me at least, the powerlifting thing has been like more of an outlet for my feelings. But I still have, you know, you still have to do the, like you said, like the non-physical things like meditation, reading. I mean, just trying to prove yourself outside the gym so that you can be better inside the gym and in everyday life as well.
100%, mate. You know, it's those small little steps, right? The accumulation of those it's end up getting you somewhere rather than like, I'm gonna wake up one day and take a giant leap. I was like, dude, that's a fairy tale. That doesn't exist, man. Like it's a bit
No,
of a grind, you know.
yeah,
You just gotta go outside and dig holes, mate. Sometimes you take shovels, sometimes you take spoons, and that's it.
mm,
Just gotta go out and dig holes. It's
yeah,
mundane, it's monotonous, it's boring, you know, it's hard work, but
yeah.
it's life.
But it's beautiful, you know.
Mm,
Like each time you do it, you know, you realize that. I mean, each step is like a step towards the right, towards your goal. I mean, although it might not be like the biggest of steps all the time, it's still a step in the right direction. And that's all that counts.
mm. And you kind of because things take so long, you're kind of forced to look around and learn the little nuances along the journey, right? And it kind of gives you a sense of meaning
Mm.
in the process. I think it's yeah, it's quite fascinating. Like life is one hell of a journey, man.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Especially when it takes me to Sweden.
Yeah.
I'll come
Uh,
over, man. I'm telling you.
yeah, you should definitely come.
I'll
Definitely.
be I'll be coming over, man. Like whenever I get back home. Obviously Sweden and the UK are a lot closer than bloody Sweden and New Zealand, you know. So
Mm. Yeah.
I can't just pop
I'm
over
so
for a
sorry.
weekend.
Yeah, I'm so sorry that I had to interrupt you, but I'm water loading right now, so I have to like use the bathroom like all the
Dude,
time.
go.
Yeah, I'll be back in a minute. Okay.
Dude, go. Go.
Sorry.
No, don't apologize. Go. Back. Little
All
piss
right.
break. Mate,
Yeah.
don't ever apologize for needing to take a piss, man. Come on. I'm not expecting
Yeah.
you to have a little bucket next to you and just you hear a little waterfall or something. You're like, what is this guy doing?
Yeah, but yeah, this water load, man, it's killing me, but yeah, it's a part of the process.
Water load, dieting, saunas, sweating it out. You know, you people are crazy, man. You know, that's why I'm like, fuck it, I'll go in whatever category I want. Like supers, here we go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like if we wouldn't have the weight cut thing, this powerlifting thing would be so easy.
Yeah,
Just eat, lift, recover, no cutting, just eating and lifting.
it's probably good though because it keeps a lid on us. You know what I mean? We would just blow up and walk around like a balloon.
Yep, most likely, yeah.
You know, I'm like, oh, my joints feel better when I'm heavier. It's like, yeah, Alex, but you still can't walk up the stairs. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
I should probably work on that.
Yeah.
But anyway, dude, I got three questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's the greatest piece of life advice you've ever received?
Oh, that's a deep question. I gotta think a bit.
You think away, man.
Deepest life advice. It would probably be from my close friend, Daniela, who told me to just always trust my intuition and just trust your gut feeling no matter what. Don't let other people like try to talk you out of your inner self, if you understand what I mean. I mean, of course, you should take like advice from people, but at the end of the day, you should always trust your own intuition and just go ahead with that. And that's been a game changer for me.
Love that. Mate, keep those people around you that tell you to listen to that little voice, you know, that little gut feeling, as we like to call it,
Yeah,
right? Or that sixth sense. Mate, shout
yeah.
out, what a legend.
Yeah, yeah.
Fucking A. What's the worst piece of life advice you've ever received?
The worst piece of advice. I don't know, man. I don't really listen to like or I don't really like take in bad advice. I mean, of course, you hear like terrible things sometimes that people like tell you to do, but I just try to ignore it. So I don't really have one.
Mate, that sounds like a good place to be, you know?
But I mean, if you always go around and grudge those type of things, I mean, you won't be happy.
100%. 100%. I like to yeah, I like to keep mine pretty close. Not because I'm like, fuck that person, like that was absolutely shite advice, but it's just like, oh yeah, if I'd have like if I'd have listened to that, or if I'd have subconsciously listened to it, because
Mm,
most of the time I just do my thing anyway. And
yeah.
ultimately we're gonna do our thing, whatever we want to do anyway. Right? Let's be honest. Like
Mm,
we're gonna go to the gym, we're gonna work. This is our thing.
mm,
And you're like, oh, if I'd have just changed my trajectory to suit that one piece of advice, you're like,
mm,
fuck. All these things would never have happened.
No.
Like, oh, okay. I'll just keep that one in my back pocket, right? So whenever you doubt yourself and you second guess yourself, and we don't listen to
Mm,
that intuition, right?
mm,
Then you're like, just think back, man. Like, and mine is be realistic, right? And I just think back to what is realistic, man.
mm.
None of this is realistic, dude. So I'm like, so let's keep going. We're on a rock on fire that's spinning around, right? And I'm talking to people on the other side of the world, and people actually want to talk to me. Are you fucking crazy? You're like, yeah, this ain't realistic, man. I was like, okay, let's keep doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, life is crazy if you like if you really want, how do you say, if you really want to achieve some like your dreams, life will be crazy, and just to trust your gut feeling.
100%, man. Like, it's there for a reason. It's there for a reason, man.
Mm.
Last question. What are the three words you tell your younger self?
Say what now?
What are the three words you would tell your younger self?
3 words. Well, first one, patience, um, intuition, and drive. Just just keep on going. Just like never stop.
Patience,
So
intuition, and drive.
yeah.
Hmm. I love that, mate. I usually think about people's three words or greatest quote, or one of these three questions usually hits me a little
Yeah.
deeper than the other ones, and I'm always thinking about it for the next week or something. But I like that. Patience,
Oh, thanks.
intuition, and drive, man. Like that's I think a lot of younger people would do pretty well if they kept those three words close to heart.
Mm, definitely. I mean, because when you're like during your early teens or just teens overall, you don't really have like like a perception of how long life will be
Mm,
or how much there is to life, especially when you have like when you're battling like anxiety, depression. All you know is like those feelings, and you think that nothing will ever change that. So, I mean, if you just have the patience to like go through with that and just trust your intuition, just do whatever like your gut feeling is telling you to do, and just keep going at it, you will eventually like feel better, and you will succeed, and you will like reach your goals.
mm. Dude, thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time, man. Appreciate your insight. Respect the shit out of what you do, who you are, and how much you can fucking lift.
Well, thank you, man. It
Mate,
was an honor to be here.
I'm kind of pissed I can't be there on Friday. You'll
I'll
have
post on my Instagram so you can check then.
perfect. You got to send me the link if it's televised or live streamed or whatever, you know, and I'll get a little party going on because it'll be Saturday for us, right?
Yeah.
And little Saturday sandwiches, and we'll just get some little live stream going on. I get my pom poms out, my pink tutu,
Yeah, hell yeah.
and we'll get cracking into it, mate. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. And I'll see you
Thank
when I get
you.
to Stockholm,
Yeah. See you.
man. All right, speak soon.
Yeah. Peace.
Bye, everybody.